Hi everybody, it's Sarah Cray with Let's Make Art, and today we are doing our bonus project for our May, which is loose lemons. Now, hopefully you guys have already painted your realistic lemons. Well, honestly, you can do this one first or after. It doesn't really matter. But really what I wanted to do was show you that it is beneficial to approach the same project using two different methods. One, was long, step by step, layer by layer, we built up our lemons. And now we're basically going to loosen our muscles.
Right.
Like when I played soccer and we did like heavy weights or like ran really like a lot, we then had to like shake out our arms and our legs. You know what I mean? Like shake it out, shake it
Yeah, I
out.
think Taylor Swift has a song about that. Yeah,
Shake it
out.
off.
Oh, shake it off. That's right.
So that's essentially what we're doing here is we're basically just like loosening all of that focus off.
Out?
Out?
Something.
Oh, we're getting it out. We're getting all of the focus out, and we're just going to be loose and playful. Now, if you want to transfer your outline beforehand, you can, but I have noticed that when I work off an outline and then I try and paint loose, it never works out. Because there's an outline, I'm always like, oh, I have to follow this exactly. So if you feel comfortable just eyeballing it, that's what I think you should do. Okay?
All right.
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do this. It's hard to say the number of steps because basically we just like build it up as we go. And because of the techniques of the wet on wet and the drying, we're going kind of all around at once.
I got you. We're going to do this in at least one step.
Paint. Okay. Let's do our oath and then let's have some fun. So if you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise to be kind to myself.
I promise not to compare my work.
I promise not to compare my work.
And I promise to have fun.
I promise to have fun. Okay.
So what you can do if you don't feel comfortable or you want to paint loose, but it's still a little tricky, you can take like a watercolor pencil or a regular pencil and lightly sketch out where maybe some things are going to go. The nice thing about watercolor pencils is they fade when they hit water. So for loose paintings, they're actually really great. I'm just going to kind of loosely kind of do my shapes here and placements. Let's actually add one here, maybe a lemon here. And then if you want to do some across the way, you can. I did those super light. Should I do them dark so you guys can see?
Yeah, do it dark for us. But at home, don't do it so dark.
Yeah, so I'm just going to.
There we go.
And I used green because that just happened to be the watercolor pencil, coloring pencil that's by me, but okay. Put some flowers here. And if you want to go off the outline exactly, you can. I'm loosely going off the outline, so it's not exact. Okay. And notice like how loose my sketch is. That's kind of like what we're going for here is we're just going for basic shapes. I said fur. Okay. Leaf. Lemon. Maybe a hint of another lemon. Hint of another leaf. Maybe another flower. Okay. There we go.
Perfect.
Now, let's have some fun. So I'm going to take my long brown 10. And we're going to approach these very different. I'm going to wet the entire lemon. Now, because I used a green watercolor pencil, this is bleeding out. I'm not mad about it. It's fine if there's a little hint of green in my lemons. And then I'm going to take my yellow. I'm just going to kind of swoop the one side, rinse my brush, and then just do a light wash into the rest of the section. So I still want there to be a little bit of a value change, but nothing too crazy like we just spent hours doing. You know what I mean? Like just a hint. And then because this is loose and playful, I can play with color. So I'm going to grab some orange, mix it with my yellow, and throw it in there. If you would rather do green, do green. Like this is your painting. Boop, boop. And then don't forget the little nub. And as you guys add your layers and play here, you can change the shape of your lemon. So if you need to like round out an edge or make it longer or skinnier, whatever you want. And then while it's wet like this, it's really fun just to do like a swoosh of yellow and just let it bleed. That whole area is wet. It's going to do its own thing. We're not trying to control it. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like, just be playful with color. That's fun. I like that. All right. Let's do one more swoosh of yellow in there because why not? All right. So that's cute. Like, she's cute. She's a cute little lemon. Let's do the next one. This one here. Again, I'm just going to take some water. And if there's an area that you want to keep white, just don't touch that area with water when you're doing this wash. And it's okay if you let these lemons like bleed. Like, what if you touch them and just let that yellow bleed, you know? Let's do a swoosh. And let's do some like orange in here because for fun, for funsies. But don't go too crazy with the orange because then it will look like an orange. Okay. Let's do another. Since I have yellow on my brush, let's go ahead and do these over here. And remember, we're just like loose, letting the wet on wet technique do the work for us. You can shape your lemons after you paint them. And I love how that green color in there is like interacting with that edge, I think is really nice. Let's do this lemon down here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than my outline. And that's the nice thing about outlines, even if you just do like a sketch, is you don't have to honor it. So sometimes doing a sketch and then being like, oh, that lemon is too small, instead of erasing it and trying it again, I'll just like paint over it bigger. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, it just needs to be a bigger lemon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a hint of orange if you want. We can do another lemon here, touching, do a swoop of that yellow. And because this is like a loose painting, if you want to tape off all the edges nice and clean, you can. I decided just to do the top and the bottom because, you know, sometimes you need to just play.
Don't want to mess with the tape. Don't feel like messing with it.
Sometimes you're just like, I don't need to tape this whole thing, you know? Okay, now we're going to do some leaves, which are like the best part, I feel. So I kind of drew some leaves already, and then I'm going to take my long round tin and drop in some water. And then while it's nice and wet, we can play with color. So I'm going to drop in some green and I'm just going to let it like bleed. Okay. I'm not going to try to control it. I'm not going to be precise. I'm just going to like move that color around. And then we can like just pull that color into the next leaf here. And then this is the part that just makes me so happy. I'm going to grab some phthalo and mix that with a little bit of Q gold. So it's like a green blue. And then while it's wet, you can just go along the edges and do just like a swoop. And again, I'm not blending it out. I'm not trying to smooth anything. Like I'm really just letting the paint flow. I'm going to do a swoop of Q gold because I love me a swoop. And just like, oh, look at it. You know?
Yeah.
So beautiful. And whenever you're feeling stuck, and this is a trick I have learned, whenever you're feeling stuck with your painting and you're just not happy with anything that you're painting and you're feeling a little bit burnt out and you're just like, painting, you need to experiment and try something different. You need to like loosen up your muscles and play. And so, like doing little loose paintings like this, using bold and bright colors where there's no expectation for it to be anything other than like fun is so helpful. And just look at how it just moves within there. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. And I'm going to do that same thing. I mean, some of my favorite techniques when it comes to leaves is to just wet the leaf with water and then just like swoosh in some color. And if it's not moving where you want it to move, then you can help it move. You can say, come on, little fella, move over here. Or if you're like, ooh, I like that color, but do you know what I really like? Blue. Let's put in some blue. And try to allow yourself to just let the paint do the work for you. Okay? And I'm going to paint the other like backside of this leaf. So I'm just going to touch it with some yellow. And I'll go back later and define some of these. So this is just like our initial wash. Now, when I do this leaf that's touching my yellow, this yellow might be damp, so I might get some bleeding. If you're okay with bleeding, then go ahead and swoop it in. If you're not okay with bleeding and you want that to stay nice and yellow, then don't touch it and leave a little white space. It's up to you. I'm okay with a little bit of bleeding. Let's grab some more like undersea green. I do love a turquoise with the yellow though. I think it's pretty. So if you want to do more like blue leaves, you can. I mean, it's your painting. You can do whatever you want. And then another thing I like to do is take my liner and pick up like a really dark green. So whatever really dark green you like. And then while it's damp like this, draw and shape the leaf where sometimes it touches the wet area and sometimes it doesn't. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fun?
It's beautiful.
And then that could just be the side of the leaf, or if you want to do another line there as if that's like the one side and then the back side, it's up to you. I'm not going to touch into there. Let's do this. And you can do it. You can even do that with like a cute gold or burnt orange. Like, don't be afraid to drop in these like warm colors in here. Because look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Totally pretty. And it's real life because, you know, my plants have brown spots on their leaves.
Oh, my plants absolutely have brown spots on their leaves. It does make me sad whenever I see them, though. I'm like, oh no. Okay, let's do another leaf here. So I'm going to start with water. And then maybe like the base kind of drop in or swoop in. You can even do a big swoop. I'm going to take some cube gold and cube burnt orange. Maybe go along the edge here, swoop that. The trickiest thing when it comes to this technique is it's really easy just to like layer, layer, layer. And then all of a sudden you lose your light value. So try not to do so many layers of paint and swooshing in colors that it just turns into like muddy, dark leaf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let your leaf have some light. And then I'm going to just pull from here. Oh, like how fun is that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you see what I mean of like how painting with this kind of playful looseness just kind of helps you to relax, I guess, when it comes to watercolor. And I think it's good to have both. You need to have moments where you're like trying to do it so well. And then other ones where you're just like, I'm just going to lay down some color and see what happens. Let's do a swoop of yellow in there. Oh, yeah. And then if you want to be like, hey, let's try and match, like, let's think about the texture of these leaves and do like painted chunks. You know what I mean? Like you can go in while it's damp or dry and do similar techniques to what we did in the actual, like more real, like tutorial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you can just like leave it. You don't have to have it. So it's up to you. Let's go into my lemons again. I'm going to do another swoosh of color here. Just kind of wherever, you know. Maybe kind of round that out along the top a little bit more. You can also outline your lemons if you want to. I think that's pretty. And also sometimes lemons are squatty and round or kind of lumpy, but they're still lemons, you know?
You're still worthy of love, lemon.
You're still delicious, lemons. I feel like there's a company called like Ugly Fruit Company or something like that, and they sell because grocery stores only buy like pretty looking fruit or
Yeah.
produce. And so all of the produce that tastes delicious but looks like super wonky just gets like thrown away, which is such a waste. And so I think this company buys it and just sells it. And it's called like Ugly Fruit Co. or something like
That's a
that. It's
great
pretty
idea.
funny.
That's where you got me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's where I picked you up.
Lovely.
Okay. Let's do a lemon back here. Now, we are focusing on looseness. We are focusing on play, all of that fun stuff. I don't want to detract from that. However, if you did do the lemon tutorial already, you have seen how you build up three-dimensionality through values. And we don't have to go for photo realism here, but we can utilize some of those rules to help shape our lemons a little bit more. So let's say we wanted to create a little bit more depth between our lemons or some separation between our leaves, then you guys know to make, what's underneath it a darker value to show that it's behind. So if you want to take some of those tools and apply them to your painting, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can like pick and choose where to do it. You can stop at any time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you want to do like a swoop of just like a dark, oh, I kind of like how that purple shows through on that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just play around. Play around. See what you like. See what you don't like. Don't forget the nub.
We learned that in the last tutorial. Don't forget it.
Don't forget it. And so like here, I would do like a swoosh of this dark value kind of underneath. And now look, there's a shadow and I don't have to blend it out.
Yeah.
This is the thing is you can be a little bit more gestural and loose with things like this. So if you want it to show that that like the light is really strong on these lemons and you want there to be strong shadow, then just do a swoosh of shadow and all of the sudden it creates a little bit depth and dimension that wasn't there before, but we're not having to blend it out and smooth it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to kind of just draw around this one. And that's still wet in there, so I'm gonna do a center vein, and I know that it's gonna bleed, and I'm just gonna be okay with that. If you don't want it to bleed, then I would just wait for it to be dry. I'm gonna do some flowers. So let me rinse my brush. Now for the flowers here, I'm gonna be like focusing on Q coral and Q purple, getting this like peachy pink color with hints of purple. So let's start with some water here. Well, there's paint on my brush, so let me rinse it. And I'm just going to do like the side profile of some of these flowers. And then while it's wet, I can take some of that purpley pink color and just kind of touch like one edge and just let that bleed out. You know what I mean? Like, let's do a little bud here. And again, while it's wet, just take some of that coral purple mixture. Just let it. And don't you love that like pink purple against the yellow?
Yeah.
Like with the greens and the blues. Let's actually paint a flower in here. Now, this is where the loose painting gets a little bit tricky because I might not have like planned for my flower. You know what I mean? Like I can't paint over this green. So I'll probably take some bleed proof white. Let's worry about that later. So the petals I can shape, I will. And then I'll go back with some bleed proof white later and shape the one that's kind of underneath that leaf right now. And again, if you need like a reminder of how to paint some of these flowers or, the shapes of some of them. You can look at the outline for a little bit of help. I also love when it's wet like this to take a little bit of yellow and just touch some yellow in there. Isn't that pretty? And just
Yeah.
let it bleed. I'm not working it, because usually yellow and purple, if you mix it together, they make brown because they're complementary colors. But sometimes you can just touch them and the colors will stay kind of mostly separated, which is really pretty.
It's a real exercise in not over fussing it because they will turn brown if you
Yeah,
do. Yeah.
exactly. And I liked that shadow that I did right here. I'm going to push it one more time. And instead of like smoothing it out, I'm going to do a darker value right underneath. Let's go one more. So you see how you can almost like layer your values in sections?
Yeah.
So it almost feels like collage paper or something as opposed to like smoothed out shadow. It's kind of fun. There. And then I'm going to shape this lemon because this lemon got a little bit funky. There we go. Okay. I'm going to grab my liner and I'm going to add some branches. So it's just a dark brown. So you can kind of decide. Okay, when you add branches are the things I usually do last. And then I like try and like puzzle them together. So this one's pretty simple. This is just kind of coming out of here. So that's not too complicated. Here I have a lemon where you can kind of see the top, kind of not. So I can decide to include like a stem or not. It's kind of like at a weird angle that it could be one or the other. But if I have it come out this way, then I also need to think about how it interacts with this up here, right? So we can either put them on the same branch or do two different branches, and how you decide is just the overall flow and composition. So like mentally, I'm like, okay, if I do branches coming out here and then one here, how does that feel? And if I try to connect them, does that then feel too like snaky? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will that curved line going around that leaf feel like it's too curving around? I think so. So to simplify it, I'm going to be like, okay, we're going to pretend that this actually comes out of here and that comes out of there. And then this can maybe be in front of this one and come out here. And maybe I'll do a little bud right there. You see that?
Nice.
And you can do the same thing over here. Do I want a little bud? Yeah, I do. That way, if you want to do one up here, you can. So you can be kind of playful of where you want these things to go. And because I just really love that like purpley color, I'm going to take some of that Q purple, add some water to it, maybe a tiny bit of the coral. And then you can do like this loose kind of wash coming out of it.
Nice.
Just to kind of activate some of the space. And you can decide how much you want to do this. Sometimes I just do the edges. Sometimes I'll pull from things like colors that are already there. And then I'm going to flick some paint. All my stuff is mostly dry, so if like purple lines get on it, that's okay. But I like flicking paint when I just do like a wet background because then it turns like it softens,
Yeah. Diffuses a bit.
diffuses a bit, which I think is really pretty. And let's also flick some yellow in there.
Beautiful.
And then remember, we're playing with like swoops and colors, so I can swoop in more yellow. I like that. I love how that turned out. Like, that's so pretty. Let's add another leaf up here, and then I'll go in and add some detail work on my leaves. So I've been doing wet on wet for my leaves. The other thing that you can do is you can like shape part of your leaf with this dark color and then rinse your brush and then use water and the color that's already there to shape the rest of it. And it will just have this kind of like natural value change within that. Let's do a swoop of yellow. Oh, look at it. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a swoop of gold right here. I'm going to pretend that this leaf kind of opens up. And that's two sides. You see that?
Yeah.
And then if I want to do some like veining, kind of how we did in the tutorial one that's more photorealistic, then I can go here and I can just do like that. And if you don't like it, you can immediately lift it out. You can immediately blend and lift it out. Or you can just be like, yeah, I did that. I'm going to leave it. Sometimes I like to touch in a little bit of a darker value with stronger paint along the bottom and just let that bleed into those wet areas. Like, what a cool leaf.
Yeah.
You know?
Great textures.
And let's take some cute gold. And I'm going to do a swoop of cute gold here. Here's the other really fun thing about outlining is like drawing with your liner brush is you can, like for example, I didn't go all the way to the edge over here. I can take a swoop of green and just kind of swoop it. I can even go outside the edge a little bit because the edge has already been defined. Let's do the main vein right there. If you want to do smaller. I'm doing a little wave on the edge of these because if you look at citrus leaves, they're really thick, but they still kind of wave a little on some of them. Let's do some veining here. And I'm just using my long round 10 and just doing strokes. And again, you don't even have to do it across the whole thing. You can just do it on one side. If you don't like it, blend it out. Like none of this is the end of the world. Ooh, I like that though. And the fun thing about when you play like this, one, I have found that my best work always comes from when I'm happy while I'm painting. So if you can look at a painting and you're like, that person had a lot of fun, that's so great. I love it when someone can like feel your emotion, whatever your emotion is while you're painting. That's so cool. And also you can learn and experiment with techniques that maybe you weren't as comfortable or familiar with and apply that to your actual painting. So if this is just play loose, whatever, and this isn't your style, that's totally fine. But you can say, you know what? I really loved what would happen when I would splatter wet paint or splatter paint in a wet area. And that was really great. Or I really loved being able to just do a swoop of color and let that bleed. Like that's so beautiful. And when I go to do these kind of more like precise paintings, I can take those techniques, I can take those findings and those learnings and apply them. And let's shape this. I mean, that's so pretty, but it's such a light value that it falls off the page. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What if you just do like an outline on it, like kind of
I think I'm going to
frame
leave
it?
this edge and then paint another edge as if
Oh, nice.
like
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
And then do a dark value here. And again, don't be afraid of color. Don't be afraid of a pop of phthalo. You know what I mean? Like, just see. Let's just see. Oh, that's so much paint. I like it though. I'm not mad about it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to like kind of shape some of our flowers. You can do the center. You can do the center using orange if you want it to pop. Maybe yours is light enough that the yellow, you can still see it. This one, you're not really seeing the center, but maybe we do a touch right there. This one kind of blended out into my soft background. So I'm just going to reshape it. Just a little bud there. Like that. And I had phthalo still in my brush, and you can tell because of, see how blue that purple looks?
Residual phthalo.
Yeah. So if you don't like it, just lift it up and do it again. Because sometimes you have color in your brush and you just don't even know it. Okay, that feels good. I feel like I am missing a flower right here. I don't have a lot of space where I can do a whole one, but I can do a hint of one.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah, problem solved.
And then let's do a little starting to open up bud here, maybe. A little touch of purple. Ugh, just let that bleed. Let's do some centers. And then you just like do some finishing details. Like,
Man, this one is so much looser and quicker than the other one.
yeah. And isn't it funny? Like, and I don't want to discount, like, let me. So that's our loose and playful. This was our photorealistic. I can't get them both in the same frame. But anyways, I love showing you guys different ways to explore ideas and projects, because what resonates with you is going to be different than what resonates with me. And that is how the art world goes round and round. One is not better than the other. I feel like my job is just to give you as much information as I know, so then you can pick and choose what you like or what you don't like, what resonates with you and what doesn't.
Right.
I'm taking some bleed proof white and I'm just going to shape some of these petals as if they're in front. A note about bleed proof white. It is a watercolor, but it's considered a gouache, which is essentially an opaque watercolor, which means it's not as transparent. Bleed proof white is similar. If you buy like tubes of white gouache, it's very similar to that, except it's even more opaque, which is why I love it. I will say it does tend to dry out really quickly, so try to keep a lid on it always. You can reactivate it, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. The other thing is I've started to dedicate a cheaper brush to when I use bleed proof white, because even though it's a gouache and you can rinse it out really well, for me, I don't know if it's because I haven't been rinsing it as well, but the brushes that I used with it a lot over and over again, the bristles tend to like, I don't want to say harden because I can still use them, but they become more, what's the word? Like they're going to break off.
Brittle.
Brittle. I noticed that the brushes have become a bit more brittle when I use bleed proof white a lot. So I have switched to focusing on using like maybe my less expensive, like not my $40 brushes. I don't dip those into the bleed proof white. If you do, you still can. I would just clean them very well. And if you have a brush conditioner, maybe use a brush conditioner on those, so then those bristles don't get more brittle. Okay?
Perfect.
And then if you want to do like a little bit of like texture, lemon texture on some of these, feel free to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Little dots. Little dots here and there. I'm going to splatter a bit more. I'm going to move all these. Sometimes I like a big splatter, so that's where I'm doing stabbing motions. And then sometimes I'm like, no, I don't like how dark that is. But I like the size of it. I just don't like how dark it is. So if you just pick it up with a paper towel, it's still there, but it's not like as there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It's not what?
As there.
As there.
As there.
That's Sarah's metal band. In case you're curious, check them out on Spotify.
Wouldn't it be crazy if I was in a metal band and nobody knew?
It would be crazy because we live together.
Okay. And then maybe one little colorful swoop in with my flowers here where I did some bleed proof white, just so there's some color and it's not just white, you know.
Beautiful.
There she is.
Dang.
So fun, so playful. This took what, 30 minutes, maybe 40?
Yeah, 36.
There is value in both. And so I just want to say, if you have been like this for a really long time in painting, and then when you like get out of it, you're like, whoa, that was really intense. You know what I mean? And you have like brain fog from focusing so hard on painting. You need to shake up your brain, shake up your muscles, and do something loose and playful to bring that energy back in. So then you can start fresh with that sense of focus. You know what I mean? It's really important to work back and forth. It's really great for your creativity. And it's a wonderful way to explore ideas, colors, new materials, new supplies, new subjects. You know what I mean? Like, try something new and just see where it takes you. And when you follow that curiosity, you're not going to burn out. That's what creativity is. Just follow that curiosity and you guys got this. So thank you so much for painting with me. I had a blast and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.